from religion and also from political science. Adam Smith did not do that. He combined political science and economics together. So really, he is one step ahead of that. Then Marshall, that he wrote a book. So he was the first one to write a book. So he should be declared the father of economics. Well, that's all he said, that's more than enough. Well, Kotilla wrote 2000 earlier, a big book, economic. So that's really, again, it matches Adam Smith's accomplishment. And then Barber, he said, there's a book on history of economic thought. He said that he was not original or nothing of that kind. He did not contribute anything original. He was not other people's ideas. But he put them together. That's all. Nothing more than that. Or you can call that a synthesis. Now here he's saying that he put them together, synthesized them, and later on the same author says that he was inconsistent and so on. So they contradict themselves. The problem is Stigler, he was a professor at University of Chicago. He made a very bold statement, a very threatening statement, that don't bet against Adam Smith. So anyone in West who is going to write anything about Adam Smith, ultimately they have to support him. Otherwise, nobody will buy a single book. That's too bad. Now, these are the contributions of Kotilla. When you read the book, or my book, opportunity cost, it came into the West by in 1876. Before that, really, there was no concept. But Kotilla had that. Demand and supply, Marshall 1890, Kotilla had that. Diminishing returns, regard that you tried in 1767, Kotilla had that. Then liquidity, management you hear a lot. That also Kotilla had. And then all other things being equal, when you study the demand law, that income is constant, tastes are constant, other prices are constant. Those are all things, other things being equal. Then, if the price declines, people buy more. That's a lot of demand. So, Adam Smith never had any idea of that. The whole book is very vague. You can say anything, whatever you want to say. And then, constrained maximization or optimization. That's a very important term in economics. That what are your resources? What do you want to achieve? How do you achieve that? This is a constrained maximization. Like your income is given. How you are going to allocate that among different needs? How much to buy your tuition books or rent or anything else? How you are going to allocate? Your budget is fixed. That's called the constrained maximization. But they are very explicit on that part. Now, Adam Smith moral hazard. That's a serious problem all over the world. What's a moral hazard? Like if there were no deductibles on your car insurance, what would you do? You'll not lock it. Because if somebody steals it, does anything, you'll get your money from the insurance company. That's a moral hazard. When people get tenure, they slow down. They don't publish anything. That's a moral hazard. Moral hazard is all over. All walks of life, whether it's job or politicians or whatever you want to talk. It's a serious, serious problem. And economists, they didn't pay any attention, but Kotilla, he was concerned about that. At that time, that people, they slow, they become lazy once you give them tenure. So my book has chapter 11 on that. And then linear income tax. You may not have heard that. That linear means the marginal rate is the same for everybody. That you give some exemption, and after that, the rate is the same. And merely he got a Nobel Prize for that. In 74, he wrote an article, got a Nobel Prize. And he comes around 17% the marginal rate. 17%. Kotilla has 1/6 of the income. 16.6%. How close that is, linear income tax. There are a lot of them. Importance of capital formation. Like if you don't have capital, if you don't have equipment, how much you can produce? Very little. Like this is saying, if you have a tractor or something, you can shovel the whole thing in 1 hour. Otherwise, you might have hundreds of people to shovel and clear, park, parking lot or anything else. So machines are very important. But then they are recognized at that time. And then there are some very, the theory of gains on trade. They thought about the credit part in 1817, and my chapter 13 has that, 14. So then efficiency wages. You pay a person more than the market wage, because he's always scared that if he cheats, doesn't do his work, he will be fired. So naturally, if you pay more than the market wage, he will be very loyal. He will keep working. So he introduced that part. And then crime and punishment. That's a big thing. 1/3 of the book is on administrative justice. My chapter 15, 16, and 17 deal with that part. It's 1/3 of the book. And Markovitch, he got a Nobel Prize for that. This return trade-off. Kotela, he explained in so many examples that you don't just look at the return, but also you have to worry about the risk. And you have to balance them. Now, asymmetric information. You want to sell your car. Okay? So you know everything that it stops every block, doesn't run well, but the buyer doesn't know anything about your car, or insurance company doesn't know about your health. So what the insurance company or the car buyer will do, they will pay you average price. Okay, your car may be worth $15,000, but the average price may be just $6. They will not pay more than that because they don't know anything about it. So this is called asymmetric information. That one party knows everything, the other party is ignorant. Kotela have my chapter 20th in the book deals with that. Kotela talks about that asymmetric information. Now Arkalov, he got a Nobel Prize for that. He wrote a small article in 1970, just non-technical article. Now the Lemon Law is after that. That even if you sell your car for a whole month, if the buyer finds something wrong, you can return the car. Okay, the Lemon Law. So Kotela had that. And then this time inconsistency problem. Again, that's a very serious problem. That politicians make a lot of promises, but once they get elected, they don't keep it. Also, the society, that if you do this crime, will put you in jail for 15 years. But what happens when a person commits crime? First of all, it may be reduced to 10 years, and then there is a parole board, which lets you go for good behavior after 5 years. So society also doesn't keep it. What you say, you have to keep it. And Prescott and Hillen, they wrote a paper in 1977, got a Nobel Prize for that. So Kotela could have gotten a lot of Nobel Prizes. He was that advanced. Adam Smith has really nothing, absolutely nothing. Believe me. Read as many times as you want. There are nothing in there. Now these are various people who write textbooks on Adam Smith, and look at that really he had absolutely no original contribution. But he married them with wisdom and all those kind of things, just to save face and not much wisdom also. You can hear him there?
No.
Okay. Now Kotela was worried about monopoly at that time. Monopoly is when there is one seller. And what is monopoly? When there is one buyer. Like in a town, Then maybe just one factory and one employer. So he's buying the services of the workers. So that's monopsony. So Cordelia was concerned about both of them, monopoly and monopsony. This is 300 BC, maybe even earlier. And he recommended very high punishment for monopolizing or for monopsony. And he gives all kinds of details that what a monopolist does. Now, in the United States, there was Sherman Act, 1894, and that was very vague. In 1913, they passed the Clayton Act, and Clayton Act is very similar to what Clayton Act at that time. Very simple. And it's the director of Shastra right now, Clayton Act, 1913. You go back and read that. So he was really worried about the whole economy, that how to improve the well-being of everybody. We will put to that also. Now, Adam Smith's scope of economics was very limited, very limited. I'm going to come to more fully also later on. Just very narrow area I was concerned with. These are various chapters in the Arthashastra dealing with three types of issues, economic issues, and then administration justice, and then finally the national security. I'll go in the next one. So these are the issues which Cordelia was concerned with. On the economic issues, principles and policies related to economic growth, taxation, international trade, efficient, clean, and caring administration of governance. All those issues are one-third of the book. And chapters in my book, from chapter 6 to 14, they deal with the first part. And then the second part, law and economics. That law should be ethical and efficient. It's not just waste of people's energy. So you pay a lot of attention that it should be good law, efficient and ethical. And some of the things he talks about, like this new Edison legal error, even in the United States, we have a very good system, but still there are a lot of innocent people who are on the death row many times. So there's one type of error, innocent people getting prosecuted, and the type 2 error, there are a lot of criminals who are still on the road. That's the type 2 error. Now, Cordelia was concerned about that, and he wanted to minimize both of them. So if you someday have access to my book, read chapter 15, how advanced he was at that time. All kinds of things he did, and also he was concerned about privacy at that time, that people should put their windows so high that they don't interfere in the neighbor's house. So let people enjoy their privacy. And I'll have a slide later on. Here are laws against sexual harassment. That's at that time. And also against child labor. So he was really, as if he wrote this yesterday. Because we did not have sexual harassment concerns until Justice Thomas became for the Supreme Court appointment. At that time there was a lot of discussion. But before that there was really nothing. Now this is really what summarizes the scope of Arthashastra and Adam Smith. Adam Smith was concerned only with the first part, where there is no conflict between the public interest and the self-interest. When there is all other things, like there are a lot of harmful activities, lobbying, any kind of manipulation, monopoly, all those things are. The private sector would like to do them, but it's against the public interest. And Kautilya had all these things that they should be curtailed. Here even the queen and the prince, that whatever gifts they get, it should be recorded. And they should not have any influence on the king. So he was really concerned about good governance. And this on the left side, the bottom one, is in public interest, but against the private interest. Like, there are a lot of sacrifices people make, and then you have to appeal or give incentives to do the right thing. And that's why those who make charitable contributions, government gives a tax break, because otherwise they may not do it. So he emphasized that it should be a moral duty to do certain things because they are good for the public, even if they are against you. Now, I wrote one article, and who wrote a letter to me? From the Community College at West Point, Professor Green. I was very impressed by reading that article. And this is in chapter 1 now, but it was published in History of Politics and Economy before. Now this part, Adam Smith doesn't talk about that. Like greed, anger, lust, they not only ruin the person, but also ruin the society. They are the worst enemy of the society. Like in India, Ram Lingam, he was the chairman of Satyam Computers, and he started cooking the books. So for several years he continued with that, and then finally he was caught. And what did he say when he was caught? That when you are riding a tiger, how you get off? Now, he was so obsessed with greed, making money, he couldn't figure out that why you are thinking of riding a tiger when you know you cannot get off. So Kautilya wrote